Our first race this evening are the contested school board races. So to all the candidates that are here for those races, please join us on the table. Also, if you guys have any questions on your cards, you can pass those forward to Lee. He'll collect those.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Klussman. I'll be your moderator today. And thank you, candidates, for being here. Because of time constraints, we're actually going to reduce a little bit of time that you guys will have for answering each question. We're going to give you 1 minute to do an opening statement each. We will then ask you a question. You will have 1 minute to answer that question. And then once everyone has finished with our questions for you, you'll have 30 seconds to finish with a personal closing statement. All right. I believe we have a microphone up there. John, would you like to start with your opening statement? You just got to flip the tab up.
Does this work? Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I would like to move around a little. Thank you all for being here, and I'd like to thank the Chamber and the Community Voice and our dear friends with the photography equipment for being here this evening. My plea is rather direct. Do you think the North schools are better now than they were 8 years ago? It is not that I have done this, but I think I have been very fortunate in my colleagues with Laura and Art in particular. We have been together for some time, and we have believed in the possibility of advancing this community very strongly. And so I promised 8 years ago to restore trust, lead and provide leadership and communication. A board that passes a capital bond.
John, I'm sorry, we have one.
Okay, first one in 30 years, 62%. Got to do something right.
I knew he couldn't do it in 1 minute. So my statement is that I have lived in this community for 62 years, and I graduated from this high school, and I'm very committed to this student achievement that we are seeing here now. I think we brought that along. We have a superintendent who is wonderful, and we give her all the credit because she is basically getting it done. We just set the policy, she jumps. So I'm really proud to be on the school board. I think I would change anything here. I would just change the fact that aren't getting this building done quick enough. So I'm going to give this to Travis.
Problems with things like policy governance. And, you know, what I would think I would bring to this race is someone who is going to take a keen eye to the fiduciary responsibilities of the school district and really dig into the curriculum and really try to take back more local control for our parents and for our community. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll start our questions, and we'll start down at the end, John, if that's okay. And then our second question, we'll start from this end. Once again, you'll have 1 minute to answer this question. On 30 seconds, you'll see the little green tab fly up, and the red one means stop talking.
Would you read the question, please?
Yes, sir.
The folks know what the question
Yep.
is?
Yes,
and
definitely.
It would be good to have the question if you want to get my answer.
In light of the recent released test scores and the fact that the union has established that teachers cannot be evaluated based on test scores, what do you see as your role in improving the scores of this district?
This is an important question. I don't think it's one, I think it's three. Let me keep the form of the question and change the content. What do you propose to do to improve your wife's broken leg? The first thing that I would do is call 911, and then I would see that she gets the best medical care. And if it isn't working, is it? Okay, it is. And if there were complications, I would get her another doctor. Oh, but Campbell, if you love your wife, why don't you fix it yourself? That's how I express my love. I hope you see the point. I'm not an expert on how to run the schools, and I know it. So vote for my ignorance. I will not get in the way of professionals, but I will see that they reach the ends we as a people want them to reach.
Would you like the question re-asked?
Yes.
In light of the recent released test scores and the fact that the union has established that teachers cannot be evaluated based on test scores, what do you see as your role in improving the scores of this district?
I see my role as setting a policy for our superintendent, our only employee of the school board, to follow to be able to lift those test scores through her means. She is the most professional and capable superintendent, and we hold her accountable, and we have a very strong method of accountability that she needs to use to respond to us.
Travis?
You don't have to re-ask the question. What do I think how we can improve the scores in the district? The question poses that it's a fact that teachers cannot be evaluated based on test scores. But the schools, they already evaluate teachers based on student growth. And so, we have to look at student growth also. But we have to have some way to evaluate the professionals, because this is the main point that we keep getting at. This is why this forum is a big deal right now. We have to have more accountability in the school board. And if we give all of the local control and all of the parents' control and the community's control to one person, and then they pass stuff through policy governance, curriculum, and anything else, and it just kind of gets swept under the rug, we're giving up our power as a community to really be involved in the kids' education. And so how do we change the test scores? There's probably a lot of things that we can do, but it starts with us being more involved and taking some of our power back and having more of a say in the curriculum
We're
and
out of
other
time,
things. Thank
Travis.
you.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and hold on that, Travis? We're going to ask
Okay.
the second question, starting with you. If the school board goes to the public for a levy, should that include passing a resolution committing the resources to specific purposes?
I mean, of course it should. Every time we pass a levy and we ask taxpayers for their dollars to do something, there should be a specific reason and a specific thing that those dollars are going towards. I mean, we had a problem here in Mason County about a Shelton pool, and then there was a question whether a levy was passed, and that some of those funds should have went towards to keeping the pool open, but then the pool closed. So we have to be able to be better fiduciary responsible. We have to have more responsibility with our fiduciary role in the school board, and we have to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And that sometimes means that we don't always go for the most decadent thing, that sometimes we just pay for what needs to get done, but we have to be upfront and honest. We have to be able to look people in the eye and be able to tell them that we are accountable for their tax dollars, and that we're going to protect their tax dollars and make sure that it's going to serve what it needs to serve.
Would you like the question repeated? If the school board goes to the public for a levy, should that include passing a resolution committing the resources to specific purposes?
What did you do? Oh. don't believe that you can pass a levy and specifically designate funds for specific reasons. Things come up during the school year. Gas prices go up, the transportation department needs more money. If the Feller Center went broke, and now we are providing funds to keep that going, we wouldn't be able to do that if our levy had said, you will pay for this, this, and this. So basically, because of the unexpected impacts, the financial impacts, I think we can generally say how we want to use that money, but the board needs the parameters to be able to move it from one place to another to keep it going.
Well, I certainly agree with my friend Travis. I'm looking you directly in the eye, and I want you to look around this building. It was built by establishing trust, leadership, and communication. No board is able to pass a 62% a levy unless they have the trust of the community, unless they've shown leadership, unless they communicate very clearly to a community what's going. Came from a legislative conference. I'm a legislative rep this last week from school boards all over the state. Whether you're Eastern Washington or Western Washington, what my honorable friend has proposed here is just poison. And I'll tell you why. A couple of years ago, remember when the legislature gave us that money and then took it back? Remember that? The budget, right in mid-year. That's why you need intelligence at the helm. To commit all that money, I'm going to spend it exactly like this, that, and the other thing. You wouldn't do that to a coach with football. No, you want somebody that's intelligent. We hire intelligence and we hold it accountable.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. We have two questions that have come from the audience. Travis?
Sure.
How should the school board respond to and interact with the public during school board meetings?
You know, this is actually a really good question because I attended a school board meeting where there was a lot of public interest and people wanted questions to be answered from the community and about Feller Center and many other different things. And there was actually, it was kind of baffled me, there was a discussion on the board whether it would be a good idea to do a community town hall to get those questions answered because there was outright hostility towards people trying to give public comments. There was an apology later on, but I don't think that we've solved the problem. And it goes to the very crux of why I'm running, that we need to have more accountability. And accountability means that we listen to the people who put us in office. Those people are your boss. And if you're not willing to answer those questions and you don't think it's important to answer those people's questions, then you should not be on the school board or any elected office. That's a part of the job. And if the questions are too hard, then that's a part of the job too. Welcome to it.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Would you like the question we asked?
No, I'm fine. The school board business meeting is exactly that, a business meeting to carry on the business of the school district. If people have questions that they would like to ask, they can contact any one of the school board members at any time and get hopefully an answer to that question, or at least be referred to someone who can answer the question. But when we involve ourselves in a back and forth discussion during a school board meeting, we're losing control of finishing the business of the school district. That's why those business meetings are scheduled. Other than that, we basically have special board meetings where we can take and we can enter into a discussion with the people that are there. We can advertise that and they can come. But we'll never get the business of the school board done if we continue to allow constant questioning and basically bird walking at the school board meeting.
I'd like to directly address my honorable friend at the end. If he were elected, he would do exactly as we do in a school board meeting, and that's because When we are elected, we take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the state of Washington, and our board obeys the law of the state of Washington. Friends, we are a representative government. I am humbled by the authority you give me to deliberate in public about your business, and Public Records Act and all those things are things I approve of. But you have determined that the business is to be conducted, and it's to be conducted by us. We are not there to hold a debate, because we are there to deliberate about public business. It is by our grace that we even have a question, we even have the opportunity to say something at the beginning and the end of the meeting. Nowhere in the Public Records Law, in the Public Meetings Act, are we even required to take public comment. Show me another board in town
Thank
that
you, John.
operates any differently than do we.
John, would you like to start the next question?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Feller Center has been in the news lately as a concern for the district. What do you think is the school board's role in the operation of Feller and its best solution for Feller's future?
The history of Feller is a history of good intentions and unintended consequences. Sam Feller was a man of goodwill, and he meant to give a lasting gift to this community. I could hardly even begin to summarize his generosity or the problems that met his bequest. What I would like to do is hold a rational discussion about the opportunities before us and carefully see what they may be. It is not sustainable for us to run, for example, a levy and then, oh, I pledge to you I will get as much of this money into the schools as possible consistent with running a public park. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable politically. It's not sustainable economically. The business of a school is not to run a public park. Now, we all love Feller Center. We all seek it well. We will find a solution together.
Laura, would you like the question raised?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
it's fine, thank you. The Feller Center is a complicated issue. It's actually a community center, and then the other properties were made into the wetland trails. We did that under the superintendency of Marie Pickle when she was here. And that was those Feller trails were established to be an environmental education program. We own the classroom down there, we maintain that. I believe that the district should maintain the Feller trails. However, we're not in the business of maintaining a community center, and that's costing a lot of money. If you read the newspaper, it's at least $128,000. I don't know how much we've spent already on that, but I can tell you, I can get that information for you. But we can't continue to use taxpayer dollars to support the Feller Center. So we're doing it, and we'll continue to do it if no one steps up and wants it, but we're going to have to make that a line item in our levy request next year. Thank you.
Travis, would you like the question repeated?
No, I got it. The Feller Center is a very complicated issue. I do agree with that. But, you know, attempting to surplus the Feller property is kind of surplus is just a fancy word for has no educational value. And anyone who's been on the Feller trails or down at the classroom or at the center knows that not only is this a part of Belfair's legacy, something that was generously donated to us that we can all appreciate and learn from, but it is definitely a learning experience. And, you know, it is unique, and I can understand how it's complicated and it's not really what a school district might be involved in, but that's what makes us unique. And we can fix the problem. The problem is not too big to fix. And we just have to get people in there, and we have to listen to the community who has creative solutions. And we have to be able to listen to people when they say there's a public safety or a danger on the trails, and we have to go in and fix those right away so children don't get hurt and people walking on the
Thank you,
trails don't
Travis.
get hurt. Thank you.
If you hold the mic real quick, once again, we'll give 30 seconds for a closing statement. Please.
Well, again, I'm Travis Couture. I do deeply respect Laura and John for the service they've rendered to our school district over these years. I think that I bring a different approach to how we would operate in the school board. Of course, it's not just me. John's right, it is a representative government. But I think that it's one thing to answer all the questions in a public meeting, but it's entirely another thing to be able to have a town hall meeting, and as many as possible until all the questions have been answered. That's just being responsible.
Thank you,
and
Travis.
I hope I get your vote. Thank you.
Laura?
I hope I get your vote too. And basically, I respect Travis for running for this office. I'm sure that he has all the reasons in the world to want to be on the school board. But myself, you can't deny the progress that we've made in the last 8 years. Our high school has been recognized for its academic achievement. Sand Hill, 3 years in a row, was recognized for its achievement. We have some places that we need to work on in our district, and I would like to be here to be part of that. Thank you.
I too would like to join Laura in thanking Travis and also my honorable friend. I can't remember which one of these she is. Even to offer your name for school board makes the process of what Laura and I are doing, seeking your support once again, all the more meaningful, because you have a gift and we have absolutely no claim on this office, but your pleasure, and we serve at your pleasure. Here's why I'm serving, why I'm looking for a third term. I was inspired to run for this office to begin with because of Karen Lippy. I want to see restored the program that she had, something like it. We can do it.
Thank you three very much for answering the questions today. After this, if we could have the... Oh, hey. For the fire department, please. Thank you. Thomas, Merrill, Bob, are you in the audience today? All right. I mean, Paul, how you doing? Once again, thank you for joining us. Once again, we have 2 questions here, and hopefully we'll get a couple more from the audience. If you had a chance to pass those in. You will have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Paul Severson, and I'm running for North Mason Fire Authority's position 4. I was recently on the board as a District 2 Commissioner appointed by the board to fill a vacancy, and have about 10 years background in the fire service and 16 years in law enforcement, and the rest in construction. So kind of know what's going on and think I can serve the community in a way that will make things a little better.
First question. What is the role of the fire district directors? Does it include pursuing changes in the operations, personnel practices, and services of the district?
The position of the fire commissioner for the fire district is mainly to represent the taxpayers in that district and be sure that the funds that are coming in on the tax from your taxes, your property taxes, sales taxes, logging taxes, etc., that fund is being to the best possible way to provide the best possible service for the community. And so we're not there to run the day-to-day operations. That's why we have a fire chief. We're just there to make sure that he's doing his job and that things are being carried out and the money's being used wisely.
And for your second question, if you could implement one reform within existing resources by reprioritizing funds and staff time, what would that priority reform be?
Well, it's kind of a twofold answer. As everybody that lives in the North Mason area knows, wintertime, we're the sleepy little community, bedroom community, 12,000 people. That swells probably 25 to 30,000 in the summertime. Trying to man the stations with enough equipment and personnel when your population doubles or almost triples every summer is a real challenge. And if anything, if any priorities could be changed, it would be for that purpose.
Did we have any questions from the audience? You'll have 30 seconds for a closing statement.
My biggest thing with the fire district is that it's very critical, having been involved in a fire district very similar to North Mason in the past, and knowing what the growing pains are, and always having enough people to cover the emergencies, you know, it becomes a real challenge, and I think I can bring a lot to the table to help with those challenges, and hopefully find enough funding to cover those challenges. So, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Would the contestants for the water district have any of the contestants for the water district shown this evening? Yes, perfect. I'll give you the microphone first. Deborah, correct? Deb. Once again, Deb, you'll have 1 minute as an intro. You'll be asked questions, 1 minute to respond. At 30 seconds, you'll see the little green flag go up, and the red one means we're done. Please, with your intro.
I didn't plan an intro. I just answered the questions. So I'm Deb Watson. I'm running for Trails and Water District Commissioner number 2. I don't really know how to introduce myself. I've lived in the Trails and community now for the past 10 years. Very community oriented. I'm the Vice President of Facilities for the Trails and Community Club. The people of the area are very near and dear to my heart. I believe I have the integrity and the ability and the ambition to seek change and structure that is needed in the the water district, and I would like to secure anyone's vote that's in the Trails End Water District number 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith, please use that microphone to your left.
How many are here from Maggie Lake? Who knows where Maggie Lake is? All right. Well, I happen to live in Maggie Lake for the past 10 years, and I just love it out there. Yeah, it's a little far, but it's very picturesque. You have a very close view into the Olympic Mountains, and just like you said, very community-oriented. Was the chairman of the Parks Department, Parking Department, and so did that with my wife for 4 years, and now that the Water District is having election for commissioner, I would like to run for it, because I have some ideas how to improve our water district. And when you consider Maggie Lake being the cleanest lake in the area, and I really shouldn't let that out of the bag, but our water system,
Thank you,
drinking
Peter.
water system, is one of the cleanest as well.
Robert, 1 minute intro.
My name is Robert Sample, and I'm running for position 3 for Maggie Lake Water District. I'm an incumbent. I've been there for 2 terms, could be 3. But we have the best water at Maggie Lake, and we do a good job there. Keep everything in the book straight and everything, and we treat the people fair. We send messages out to them if there's any changes or anything. And I can't say too much more, except that it's a good water district, and we have the best water in the world there.
All right. Robert, we'll go ahead and start with you with our first question. What can be done to improve customer service while maintaining the fiscal viability of the water district and yet provide stable rates for your customers?
Well, we did about everything, I guess. We've improved the water samples, and we had no trouble with the water samples for a long, long time. And we do the best to answer any questions that comes up from the customers. And that's about all I have to say.
All right. Would you like the question re-asked?
Okay. Maggie Lake is a small community, as I said before, and there are some issues that I like to address if I'm elected commissioner. One of them is that POD3 has a very great billing plan where you can average your billing amount every month for the entire year, and then at the end of the year you get a final billing which accounts what your usage is. I would like to implement that, and also I like to look into the late payment penalty, which is right now 10%, which amounts to 120% a year. You know, there are some issues to look into it, but mainly the billing option to the customers to make it more consumer friendly. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Deb, would you like the question re-asked? Go ahead.
As far as improving customer service, I think that's probably our first and foremost, or one of the first and foremost issues that we as commissioners have been dealing with the Trails End Water District. Communication with our customers is really, really important. At this time, we are in the process of a rate study because we have had a level rate for 10 years that I'm aware of, and there hasn't been any rate studies that have taken place, so we don't really know what our usage is or what our rate should be. Right now, we're effectively collecting monies. We're hoping to effectively collect monies we have about 10 to 12% non-pay on the average. So even though we're an older water district, we're kind of starting from new. We've had some previous issues. So right now, customer service and continued communication is at the top of our list in our water district.
Thank you, Deb. Would you hold on to the microphone? We will ask the second question.
Sure.
If you could implement one reform within existing resources by reprioritizing funds and staff time, what would your priority reform be?
That would be approval of our source number 4, which is a second well, and making sure that our backup generators are online and ready to go. So if there's any type of power failure or issue with one well, we're easily adaptable because we have another one that can come right online.
That question, Rhea?
No, that's fine. First of all, I want to thank Robert for a very good job he has done as a commissioner in the past. And you know, when there's nothing wrong, you don't have to fix it. And our water system is running very nicely. But there are things that can be improved. I'm an electrical engineer and mechanical engineer in my background. And I went through a very severe earthquake. And if a water system isn't secured, I have seen a 20,000 gallon water tank empty out before my eyes. And that is a resource that is wasted. How secure are we in our water system? That's what I'd like to find out. I'd like to find out what our assets, how secure are they? Can they last through an emergency, like an earthquake? And yes, like the neighbor here,
Thank you, Peter.
that check out the generator systems, the backup system. Very
Thank you, Peter.
important.
First thing I'd like to say, our water is measured. I think that's according to regulations, and if there's any overload of water being used, well, we find out where it's going. But, and we're putting in 3 stations for testing the water quality. And that's going to be on the agenda to be voted for here next meeting. And that's about it, I guess. Except the water is the best water in the world.
All right, Robert, if you can hold on to that microphone. We have one question from the audience. Several smaller water districts have had numerous financial and management problems. What can the board do to avoid future problems and provide a stable rate environment for customers?
Well, we're putting money aside for any major problems, and we're going to increase that too in the future. That's about it.
That basically answers it. Thank you, Robert.
Deb, would you like the question re-asked?
No, got it.
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
All right.
Let's do it again.
Several smaller water districts have had numerous financial and management problems. What can the board do to avoid future problems and provide a stable rate environment for customers?
We are one of those water districts that have had problems, hence the reason that customer service is so important to us and the public relations. We hold our meetings at the community club in the district. We invite the public to come join the meetings. We do have a question and answer session at the end of the board meetings so that we can get some input. We are in the process of a rate study that I think is going to help us be able to better balance that line. We also have reserve funds that are in place. We're making sure that our system is sound, that we don't have any static issues or generator issues, or we're in the process of making sure that everything is up and going.
We now have time for a 30-second closing statement. Deb, would you start?
Is my voice still quivery? Thank you for your time. I appreciate you inviting me here and listening to my babble. And hopefully, I don't see a lot of our water district here. I see a few people. But if you're in our water district, I hope that you vote for me. I would really like to do what's best for you.
I also want to thank Robert again for doing all of that work in the last, how many years? Well, I don't know. He's been all time in the Maggie Lake, in the Maggie Lake Water District, so I really appreciate that. It's always good to have new opinions, new insights, new way of doing things. Our building is still the 20th century, and we are living in the 21st century, so I can contribute and bring something new into the board.
Thank you. We're preparing for any emergencies at Maggie Lake Water District, and we're on top of most things. We got some good people as commissioners there. And just like to say that the fire department can use our water, but they have no idea how much they take so we can keep track of it. That's about all I have to say. I want to thank Mr. Bissinger.
All right, thank you guys very much. That concludes our questioning for this evening. I want to thank each of the candidates that made it here today to speak in front of you guys and answer some of your questions. And thank you to North Mason for letting us use their facility.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'd like to invite any of the candidates who are uncontested that came to tonight's event to come on up and introduce yourselves. And if there's time, if there's any questions from the audience, even though you're uncontested, we'd love to give you guys the opportunity to answer those questions. Thank you. It seems good now. Thanks, Dan.
I'm Dan Goodell, and I am your new Superior Court judge. And this is position 3. And I came here tonight to not only put a face onto the position, but to let you know what the position is. In 2014, the legislature decided that Mason County needed a 3rd position. And at the end of 2014, I was appointed by the governor to fill that position. And when you're appointed, you have to run the immediate election following the appointment, which is this coming election. And I'm not opposed. And then the other rule is that once you make it through that election, you go into the regular cycle, which for the judges, this happens to be the following year. So I get to be on the ballot this year, and I would need to be on the ballot the following year to maintain my position. I have been a practicing attorney for 30 years prior to being appointed. When you're appointed, they take away your bar license, and you're no longer an attorney. So it's a totally different career. I spent 20 years representing people in Mason County, 20 years in Belfair, and the last 5 years I also had an office down in Shelton. So I pretty well know the people of the county. It is a very broad job. It's the Court of General jurisdiction in Mason County. It's the highest trial court in Mason County. We do a very broad range of things. Unfortunately, having come from this county, I had that experience of a broad range. And I was just thinking today as I was driving up here, an example of that would be my day today. I presided over a criminal matter, a jury matter this morning, a trial, which concluded. I went in to deal with a civil Consumer Protection Act action, went over and did a series of family law matters, and at the very end of the day, I got to do the one thing that is the best thing to do as a Superior Court judge. I did a wedding. So that's the good side of the marriage to be on. Okay. So It's good to see all these people out here tonight, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Do you guys have any questions for Dan?
It's a different career. And I really enjoyed being a lawyer, but I really enjoyed being a judge. So it's a career transition. What do you enjoy about being a judge? The challenge. Every day there is something else that you look at and you say, I'd never quite seen it that way before. And then the challenge of having to learn how to deal with it. For every moment that you're on the bench, there's a whole lot of moments off the bench that you're preparing to be on that bench. And so it's all that. So it's a very difficult job, a very challenging job, but a very enjoyable job and fulfilling. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
I don't know I guess I can speak in this way. I'm not used to microphones. But my name is Peggy Van Buskirk, and I am running unopposed for the hospital district. We don't run the hospital. We just run the district. People quite often think we're running the hospital, but Harrison, or I guess it's not totally Harrison, it's a point. But so my name, I don't even know if I told you my name. It's Peggy Buskirk. I don't like speaking in front of people very well. We have another position that's unopposed in our district, and that is Dr. Lane Johnson, so I'll introduce him.
Thank you, Peggy. I'm Lane Johnson. I'm a retired family doc, and I lived up here in Belfair for a number of years. I first came to Mason County in 1980 and was in Shelton, practicing in Shelton, and most practice in Dale. I'm very delighted about the clinic that the district has with Harrison Hospital, and we want to make sure that we keep the medical services going here, and perhaps we can add other services in the future. I have enjoyed being on the commission so far. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Well, Peggy, what do we do?
Well, one thing that we have done is we have the drug drop box, which was a joint effort between our hospital district and the sheriff's department and the health department. We have outreach programs, and we're up for just about anything that you, as a taxpayer, would like us to consider. And we would love people to come to our meetings and ask us to do things.
The hospital district is also quite a lot. I am the superintendent for the hospital district. And it's a lot like the fire district commissioners. We are the overseers of the public money that we receive from taxpayers, from the public. We make sure that that money is utilized. We do a subsidy to Harrison Hospital to kind of help offset costs, mainly for the urgent care portion of the clinic. And so we make sure that Harrison is fulfilling their obligations to the public on the utilization of the money that we provide for the clinic.
But we are bound by law as to what we can use the money for.
When's your meeting?
Fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock at the clinic.
We'd be happy to share some of our audience with you.
They're welcome to come and listen.
Dr. Johnson, thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Art Whiteman. I'm currently on the North Masons School Board, and I'm running unopposed for that position again. And I just wanted you to know who I was, and to say that I've been very fortunate with the current board that we have and in the history of the community, in that when I came here in 1982, we opened the old high school. I had nothing to do with that. But now we've got this one, and I had something to do with it, although I cannot claim credit. In any case, the credit belongs to our whole community. In any event, just wanted you to know who I am, and I'm available at any time, telephone calls, emails, that sort of thing. I don't get very many of them from the public. And I'd like to say just our setup in our school district here, we're one of the few districts in the state that operates on the board level with this policy governance formal name to the model. But the state of Washington tells every school district in the state that you need to govern by policy. And that's what we do. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you very much, Art. Thank you. Are there any questions for Art? Thank you.
I'm Judy Scott, Port of Allen. I'm running for the Port of Allen, position number 1, district number 1, running unopposed. And so I'd like your vote. I'm running, it's underpaid, and there's lots of challenges, and I figured nobody else didn't want to step up, so I had to do it. I've been on board, though, since the year 2000, and I tell you, it's been really not only a challenge, but it's been really, really fun at times, too. I love the people in my community. I've been here all my life, and to see some of the changes that the port has been doing has been great. As you know, since I've been on board, we've gotten the launch ramps graded, docks upgraded, got a kayak park, the Allen water system got upgraded, and now we have fire flow in Allen as well. Hope to restore our Sergeant Oyster House, get some tourism going here to keep people in this community, give them something to do. And want to also welcome Larry Capola, our new executive director. And I just want your vote. Of course, you don't have a choice. Ha ha. No.
Thank you very much, Judy. I appreciate it. Do you guys have any questions for Judy while she's here? All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Leanna Krotzer, and I am on the school board as number 2, and I am also running unopposed. And I'm love to sit up here with Judy. She's known me before I was ever born, so yeah. I'm from Grapeview. I started there. I was born there and moved out of there when I was 10, and into the South Kitsap area, and then back here to Belfair, because it's where my heart is, and Dewato area, where my father lives. I grew up as a McLean, Anna McLean. I have to say that when I was appointed on the board last year, I had no idea what to expect in there. I had, same as Travis up here with, I want to change something or I want to do something, but when I got in there, it's the heart that's in the school board is absolutely amazing. I'm kind of shaking, so don't, whoever is up here shaking too. Yeah, it's not just you. I thought I wouldn't be. But I would really encourage people to come to our meetings, and you don't have to be a school board member to make a difference in our school board. Come bring your ideas, come talk. I hear a lot of people saying things that are like, our school board, come and talk to us, call us. And I want people to know me in the public, come and talk to me, walk up to me in the store, anything you got, bring it on. That's why I came in here. I want to do stuff here in the school that's positive, and already being part of a group that's so positive, I had no idea, no idea the heart. And Laura, oh my gosh, the heart with that lady, and for the kids, and John, you have just a sparkle and a theatrical way of just doing things. He's wonderful. Art and Dinah is not here tonight, but they're just a great group, and I love working with now I'm just losing people. Dana, she's wonderful, and I'm glad that I got to come and work with her as soon as she got here. So please come to our meetings and talk to us and grab us out in the public. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanna. Are there any questions from the audience for Leanna at all? Okay. Wes, thank you for coming.
So I'm Wes Martin, and I'm a Benson Lake resident. I'm also on the board of the Metropolis of Grapeview. And some of you may know this is an actual proven fact, but as Grapeview goes, so goes the rest of Mason County. That's right. That's right. We're the big dog on the block, K through 8. But we are known as one of the best elementary schools in the area. We have about 230 kids in our school, and we provide personalized service. We feed into the North Mason School District. From after 8th grade, we have a big graduation for 8th grade. It's a big, big deal in our school district. A lot of people kind of laugh at that, but we make a big deal of it because we're sending our kids off to basically a foreign country to be educated, and that is North Mason School District. So we in Grapeview are very interested in what's happening in North Mason. I'm proud to say that in my term of service as a school board member, we have really strengthened our ties with North Mason. And the reason that we've done this is to help provide the continuity of education within our school district so that when they get to North Mason, it's not quite the culture shock that it used to be. And I'm sure if anybody has kids that went to Grapeview and went to North Mason, it's a different environment. And so we've made great strides with that, and I'm really proud to say that we've been successful. Also, we have a great modernization project going on, so if you ever want to come by Grapeview and see the big lights out there, come by and see the school because it's really fantastic. This is okay, but when you see Grapeview, your jaw will just hit the ground. So I'm going into my third term. I was appointed halfway through another board member's term, reelected, when I ran for reelection, possibly because I was unopposed. I don't know. I like to think that it was because of my sparkling personality. And I'm also running unopposed now, but I would like to say that doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to do my best no matter what. So anyway, I'm Wes Martin, and thanks for your forced vote.
Are there any questions for Wes before he leaves? All right, thank you. Well, that pretty much concludes our event for the evening. Again, I'd like to thank everybody who came this evening, everyone who attended, and the candidates that participated. I don't think we see a lot of forums for local races, and I think it's important to get these candidates out here that don't really get that much interaction with the public. It's important to get them introduced to the people who vote for them, whether they're tested or not. Believe it or not, a lot of these positions have a huge impact on your life. And I just want to say again, thank you for coming. Thank you to the members of the Government Affairs Committee that I work with for working to put this on. Thank you to the North Mason Community Voice, to Diedrich Allen and Mason Web TV and Hood Canal Communications. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Dana Rosenbach, superintendent back here, for allowing us to use her facility and the North Mason High School facility this evening. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to socialize and get to know some of the candidates, and thank you.